Oh, that would be great. That works for me. Does this go to you or me? A comment card for today? Yeah. Signs on properties.
I was leaving, my dog jumped up on me and said, don't go. Husky here over here.
See which ones to speak on. I know which one.
The Huskies are so funny. I didn't think she'd be caught up here because she would love to stand up.
Yeah. They talk about race.
Got it. Really got to look.
Turned black now.
Okay.
I mean, I used to see it. I was sitting. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
It's what it's time. It's been outside. So why is it? And it was you, but it got from the theater. She says what happens when everybody thinks they.
Okay, so we have a full board present. Hey, we have nobody on.
I do not be agreed that like somebody reach out to us.
Easy conversation. I turned power.
Yeah, I actually have a board vote. I will just take it in.
Sunday.
Oh, there we go. Okay, here we are. Okay, I'd like to say welcome to everyone today. It's a beautiful day out there, and I want to thank everybody for being here for our open board meeting. As I open this meeting, I would like to let everybody know that we have a large amount on our agenda, being that we did not have a meeting in December. So we're going to keep on point and keep moving along so that we can get everything that we have done in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, and with that being said, I'd like to open the open board meeting of MLCC. Okay, would you like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, the first thing on our agenda is the approval of the board meeting minutes.
Yes. Seeking approval of the board meeting minutes for A, the Board of Directors session minutes of November 18th, 2023. B, MLCC Special Board of Directors Executive Session on November 30th, 2023. And C, finally, MLCC Special Board of Directors Executive Session on January 23rd, 2024.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, so next on the list is member comments. I have one. Is there any other member comments? Yes? Sure.
There's a microphone here too, if you'd like. We're asking all members if they would try to keep it to a 3-minute comment and also a 3-minute report for the committees.
Yeah, we have a lot to get through.
Thank you.
It'll be less than that. My name is Gordon Lowe, and I've been a member since January of 2020. And I have something to say about the election of board members. I recommend that a board information session be offered to all board candidates as soon as possible. The session would explain the required duties and obligation of all HOA members in the state of California. It would also list the desired duties and obligations of the Mission Lakes Country Club HOA, if any. Secondly, I recommend that with the mailing of the candidate statement, there be a listing of club service by each candidate. For example, committee memberships, chairmanships, board service, and so on. Also, a notation of whether the candidate attended the board information session. I would appreciate your consideration of these two recommendations, and if there is concurrence, asking the staff to carry them out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. And we also have a comment from Sue Ketchum.
I put this comment in on November, except I had people coming in, I couldn't stay for the board meeting. As many of us know, if you're a golfer, since September, there has been a sign on the golf course, which I don't know why it's still there, and on our CCNRs in section 6.3.7, it says that no homes shall have a sign. I think that should hold for the property, our community, because what this is doing is setting a precedent. So it's like, I can just put a sign up there. And we had a member who had a very professional sign, very discreetly placed, and they have to take it down. So I think this sign's been up there since September. It should have been taken down way back in September, and I don't know why it hasn't been.
So which one is it?
I'm sorry?
Which one is it?
The one that says Zambrano's Landing. Which only happened, okay. It was there on Tuesday. I noticed it was not there today. But the thing is, I wanted to address it still because it had been up there. And if somebody else puts one up, it should be taken down.
Wasn't it up there in November and talked about in November?
There, no decision was made.
Okay, thank you so very much, Sue. And as of today, the sign is gone.
The sign
Correct.
is just laid down on its face value.
It's laying down, but it's not.
I checked.
Okay,
There.
all right, perfect. Are there any other comments? Okay, before we move on to the general manager's report, we are going to elect we are going to have an election for the position that has been left open, and so we are going to fill that today. So, can I get a motion for the new director who's going to be filling our position?
So I would like to make a motion that we install Mr. James Lottie as to fill that seat until the next election.
I'll like to second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. Please, James, come join us.
Thank you.
And I'd like to really, just real briefly, thank James for stepping into this important role. It's only going to be for I guess 2 meetings. Maybe I could list 2 meetings in the morning meeting, so maybe 3. And he's somebody who's just experienced and has been here, been involved in committees, and is not going to be running in the election. So we're not showing any bias towards any of the candidates running, coming up. And you're just kind of going to be a caretaker who we all trust and respect. So I appreciate you volunteering for that.
We thank you very much for stepping up and filling it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on now with the manager's report, general manager.
Okay, so since we didn't meet in December, I have a couple of financial reports. I'm going to start with November. The month of November, we were over budget by $56,237. Expenses were over budget by $42,994. A lot of this is timing. So as we get going here, it really will get a lot more positive. And revenue was under budget by $13,243. Food and beverage was over budget by $5,399. Golf shop was $6,245 better than budget. G&A was $24,292 over budget. Golf maintenance was over budget by $33,289. Clubhouse was better than budget by $2,837. The inn was over budget by $1,691. Pool and rec was over budget by $723. In the reserves for the month of November, we spent $8,368, and at the end of November, we had $3,253,319 in reserves. For the financial overview for December, this is the pre-audit numbers, but for the most part, for December, we were under budget by $2,205 for December. Expenses were under budget by $15,735, and revenue was under budget by $13,530. Food and beverage for the month was $15,774 over budget, but for the year, food and beverage was $2,524 better than budget. So that was a positive.
First time ever.
And about 90,000 better than last year.
Golf shop was $8,774 over budget in the month of December, and for the year, $55,090 better than budget. G&A was $4,770 better than budget for the month of December, and for the year, $390,931 better than budget. But $350,000 of this was for the special assessment to pay back the loan. So we're looking at about a $40,000 better than budget. Golf maintenance was better than budget by $20,027 for December, and for the year, $79,714. They were under budget. Clubhouse was better than budget in December by $1,917, and for the year, $29,305 better than budget. The inn was under budget by $753 in December, and for the year, $111 worse than budget. Pool and rec was over budget by $8 this month, and for the year, $1,474 worse than budget. So in the reserves, I'll do the reserves, and I'll do the full numbers here. Reserves for the month of December, we spent $26,457, and at the end of the month, we had $3,345,833 in reserves. So our pre-audit numbers, and our audit starts next week, ending 2023, we were $546,769 better than budget, which once again, big part of that was a special assessment of $350,656 that was paid back to the reserve loan. We were better than budget overall by $196,114.
Crazy.
A little bit of food and beverage for February, the happenings. So, and I'll go through this by date, but you also get in your monthly newsletter and calendar. February 4th, Sunday brunch. February 8th is the start of our 2 theme nights for the month. The first one will be stir fry, and on the 22nd of February will be wine and dine. So it'll be like a wine tasting with dinner. February 10th, Lunar New Year, with specials in the dining room. February 11th, Super Bowl party. You're in the upstairs. February 14th, Valentine's Day dinner. Menu coming soon. February 8th and the 23rd will be bingo night. And February 23rd is karaoke. So, and we also have numerous amounts of golf tournaments and things like that, but for the most part, that's what's happening today.
Eric, real quick, on the wine and dine,
Yes.
you know who the vintner is?
I do. So comment cards. So we had a bunch of them since we haven't met in a couple months here, so bear with me. Please have karaoke back in the dining room. It's only once a month. The sound is better and we love it in there. Saturday night dinner, thank you for having vegetable-based patty. 4, really appreciate the Sunday brunch. Why can't we have chips and salsa at the bar and charge around $2? We love the piano player. Members in the lounge who ordered food should be served ahead of takeout orders from the sandwich. We ordered extra food just to listen to the piano player. You need to bring him back.
Good incentive.
Yeah. Need a second wipe dispenser in the gym when the one runs out. The next one is shave part of the north side of the chipping green to more closely to resemble the chipping area on 13 and 18 short of the green. Sunday's MLCC WGA event luncheon was excellent. Staff on top of service and member relations. And thank you to member relations for helping out. We should not charge a cart fee if a husband and wife are split up in two different foursomes and one needs a cart. Best holiday party ever because of Luz, Julie, Audie, Elmer, Don, Hank, amazing staff. For weeks, I've gone into the ladies' room to see 50-ounce jug of mouthwash on the counter with no cups available. Are we to chug a love or is it? That's very entertaining.
Oh, that's a good point.
Everything was great. My wife loved the chicken piccata, good service. Loved New Year's Eve party here at MLCC. Issue was being rejected into entering the foyer 15 minutes prior to the start. Many of us were wearing cocktail dresses, very cold outside. What is wrong with showing up 15 minutes early? Very disappointed to wait in the cold. Kudos to the restaurant staff and management. The three of us had prime rib and all three were perfect. Switch to a patrolling security company. It's time to look at surveys on Facebook and next door. The members want at least some options. 50 ladies came up at the same time for the member on Saturday. There was only 2 staff members. They did what they could. Many people planned to order, but nobody there could take the order. Seems to be norm, not an exception. I love the piano player, ordered an extra glass of wine, continued to listen, and the food was good too. We have them every Saturday, so they'll get back. Madison is in the office. It's very helpful getting us a USB for our MLCC WGA luncheon. I dined in the restaurant this past Friday evening with friends. The servers were professional and friendly. Our server was timely and attentive. The food was prepared perfectly, no complaints. I want to thank the person that came up with the Coachella Valley salad. It was amazing. We need more items like this on the menu. This reflects country club dining. Please continue to add new items to the menu. It would be nice to have a crafted water on the dinner table. This allows patrons to fill their own water glasses without waiting for the staff. Relieves staff to attend to other matters. Promotes better service. And my final one for the month was mashed potatoes were not mashed.
Mashed potatoes were not.
So at that time, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so very much. Okay, so we are going to move on to committee reports. The first committee will be the ACC committee. Brian, Ms.
Yes. Is Don here?
I don't see him.
All right, ACC. So we had the paint, or the ACC had the paint colors up for the last month. Can you guys hear me? Do I need this on?
Yeah, turn it on. I can't hear you.
I'm pretty sure it's on. Dang it. Can you hear me now?
You gotta push the switch up.
Gotta push.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
ACC posted the paint colors last month. They did ask for feedback on it. There was some feedback. A lot of people asked for some additional colors. They said it was boring. They wanted some more flavor to it. So they did decide to add some more colors. Those are now out on that board. I did hear some feedback that maybe people wanted some other stuff. So it's out there again for 30 days. They've wanted to put it out to get additional feedback. So please share it. They would love to hear it. So it'll be out there for another 30 days.
So we need to approve the new paint palette if you want it out there for 30 days. The new one that's posted there.
So you need to make a motion. We need to have a motion to approve the paint palette.
Motion to approve the new paint palette with the additional colors and put it out in the lobby for 30 days.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, we'd like to make a motion to approve a new committee member to the ACC, Mari Schofield.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Mari. I don't think she's here today. I think she's on vacation, but great. That's a great addition to your committee. And is that the report, or do you have a few more things to say, Brian? That's okay,
There was nothing else.
Madison.
Madison.
There was not anything else that needed to be reported. So that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you so much. Condominium Association, Walt?
Thank you, Madam President and directors. The MLCC Condo Association had their annual meeting on December 29. 2 new board members were seated, and we did our appointments for reorganizing the board. Our general manager has resigned. We're in the process of hiring a new management company. I'll update you that on the next meeting. Hopefully we'll know by then who we're going to use. And our only spot was redone, and the full deck was resurfaced. Looks really good. We had a sewer break or clog today, building number 4 that's being repaired. All 12 buildings, we had 9 of them done, now 10. Of course, one of the last 3 did. So we're going to try and do the other 2 before it's an emergency on a Saturday. But I wanted to update you guys on that. I don't know if you guys realize it or not. I know that most of the homes here are still on septic, but the condominium association is hooked to the public sewer system. So it was a lateral in the common area that clogged. And so there was 8 units that, couldn't use the sewer system. I'm sure they did a big thing for years. There was a letter circulating during the campaign that was just put on social media, and I just want the board to be assured that that never came from the board of directors, and it was never sanctioned. And I think it was probably blown out of proportion, but I just want to identify that. Actually, most of the board wasn't even aware of it. They hadn't gave it a second thought because the campaign was over, but it showed up again on social media, and there was a little back and forth on that. And I want everybody to know that the board's not anything like that.
Was that, Walt, you say social media, was it Facebook or was it Nextdoor or what was it?
Not exactly sure.
Next door.
On a DMLCC.
But it kind of implied that the condo association was trying to separate from the club, and that was news to all board members. So, I don't know who started. Well, I knew how it started. It's a campaign thing.
Yeah.
That was misunderstood.
Thank you for letting us
People
know
do
that.
funny things during campaigns. We all know that, right? And also that we have a couple board members that are on the club committee, communications committee, and we're trying to set up better relationships with the condo, which are also full paying board members, club members, to start having better understanding of how to utilize the facilities and kind of bring everybody together. So, and I think that Sandra's going to report on that, but she's doing a great job for us too. Any other questions that they have to answer?
Great.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Paul, for keeping us informed about what's going on with the condos. Thank you. And actually, congratulations on becoming the president of the board. It's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so now we have finance and credit. Steve?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve checks over $1,000 from operations and reserve accounts for November and December of 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And any
And-
nays? Motion carried.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the finance and credit reports for November and December 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried.
And I have a number of RFCAs we can go through. The first is RFCA 8619-05 in the amount of $8,800 from reserves for replacement of the clubhouse water heater that failed. The vendor is Hammer Plumbing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
And like to make a motion to approve RFCA 8632-05 in the amount of $4,113.36 from reserves for repairs to the irrigation control system. The vendor is iTech Irrigation.
If I could say just a few words on that. So, I don't know exactly when it was when they did the irrigation system, but there was some faulty wires that were in there going from 13 all the way to 18 kind of thing. So they found some splices that our two irrigators who've been here forever have never spliced into it. They found some bad splices and things like that. So they have to run all new wires, all the new cloth. So that's what that is.
And I think it's probably going to end up being more than that total. This was the initial high tech coming in with a couple guys to help us diagnose it.
But Rob, when he gets more time to plan this, he's going to dig the trench for it. Put it in. So that's right now. That's the initial.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve RFCA 8630-05 in the amount of $12,253 from reserves for the replacement of the turbine debris blower. I think they call them the Buffalo blowers, and the vendor is Stouts Equipment.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
And the last RFCA is RFCA. I'd like to make a motion to approve RFCA 8630-05 in the amount of $25,238.20 from Stouts Equipment to replace from reserves to replace the Ryan Cedar. Now, what this is as opposed to the Ryan Cedar, which is a push thing that hardly has gotten used because it's almost impractical. This tow behind cedar, you tow it behind a tractor, and it's got much larger capacity, a lot of bells and features. It can be done. It can be used for both common Bermuda grass overseeding in the spring, as well as ryegrass touch-ups. It would be what we use to overseed when we shut down, but several holes around here we had not transition well, and Raphael went and put more seed down. This would actually put it into the ground, dimples it into the ground. It results in faster germination with less water, and the birds can't get to the seed, which is one of the big deals. And in my discussions with a couple of different superintendents around the valley, it's becoming absolutely every course, especially ones in common Bermuda, have one of these machines, or if not more. And it saves itself in labor costs in the first year. It works so fast. It saves water, saves seed. Okay.
Great. Okay. So we have the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any more discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved.
I guess I should have waited for my explanation for the discussion because it's not part of the motion.
Is there any more that you have to report on?
No, I think things went really well. My treasurer's report for the February newsletter I just put out kind of does a year-end summary of how the year went in the different departments. So look forward to that. It's pretty dense. It's not very exciting, but it makes a good cover. We had a very good year. And I think, in terms of, and I don't take any credit at all for that. That is this man, Eric, and his management team are doing a great job. David Cadillo, our controller, is excellent. And he's been here now just long enough to really have a handle on things. Eric is a consummate professional and really knows this business. And I'm really excited that, we're running a very efficient operation right now. So things are looking good. I mean, the improvement in F&B was over $90,000 better than last year. 94,000, I think it was, better than last year.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and
that's
I was actually shooting for a lower target than that. November and December and October expenses caught me a little bit off guard. I was pushing for around 110, and it came in at 130. But it's still based on past years, it's still looking really good. And if you break down those numbers, the efficiency is becoming great. Cost of goods sold is solid. It's reaching its targets. The labor costs have sort of really been put in control. I mean, despite what the minimum wage and what it costs to hire people these days, but we're really getting efficient with the amount of labor input we're putting in. It really comes down to revenue. We need butts and seats. We need to engage the community better
Butts in the
to
seat.
get more support for the food and beverage operations and everywhere through. I mean, we've got outside play coming into the golf course. I'd like to see how we can leverage that to bring people into the restaurant. I mean, every part of it right now, their biggest goal needs to be getting, marketing, the brand side of it, getting more people in there. And the easiest one would just be to engage the other 70% of our own community, our own members, to come up there. So we'll see. And communications is a big part of that. Sandra is doing an amazing job with that. So
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. All right, the finance report is very positive this month. The last 2 months have been really, really good, and it's really good to hear good news when it comes out of the finance department. Golf committee, Jaime?
Okay, so I would like to welcome Ms. Pat Hobbs, the new WGA president. She will be giving the report for the golf course.
Thank you, Madam President, board members. I'd like to start off by the golf committee report by congratulating and recognizing our senior club champions for the WGA and the MGA. Champions were Sue Sims and Robert Ashdown. And the super senior champions were Kim Butel and Danny Harbat. Super senior champions were Marie Bordoff and Gus Lisa. And also 2024 has seen 6 principal rules changes in golf. And I would just like to highlight 2 that I think that we as recreational golfers would be interested in. The first one is Rule 3.2, which affects scores not posted. And this new rule replaces the net par procedure with an expected score that will be calculated by the USGA. And it is recommended that you post the holes that you have completed playing hole by hole. And this will allow for the expected score to be accurate when it's posted. And the other rule is Rule 5.1B. And this rule has to do with posting a 9-hole score. The previous method of combining 2 9-hole scores has been replaced with an expected score where the 9-hole score differential is combined with the expected score of a player with a given handicap index to produce the 8-hole score. Again, this will be calculated by the SCGA. And we recommend that all members, if you haven't already, download the SCGA USGA Rules of Golf app to become more familiar with the new rules. And February is a very busy month for our tournaments here at MLCC. It starts off with the Super Bowl horse race on February the 9th, followed by the couples tournament on February the 10th. And then the Super Bowl scramble will take place on February the 11th. The WGA, MGA Collective, will be the weekend of February the 17th and 18th. And then, ending February, we will have the Sadie Hawkins tournament on February the 25th. And just a reminder that you are to have a different partner for the couples and the Sadie Hawkins. And the Sadie Hawkins is traditionally the ladies will ask the men to be their partners. So just keep that in mind. The golf committee will continue to work on the 24-25 calendar, and we will have it finalized by our next meeting. And our next meeting is January 31st at 1 p.m. here in the Lakes Room.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay,
So we
the,
have some position changes for the golf committee.
okay,
So I guess we're not going to address that Julia is out because it's automatic, right?
that's our, yes.
Okay. So the MGA let me know last night that the interim tournament chair for the MGA is going to be Rob Ashdown. So he will automatically become a co-chair with Pat Hobbs for the golf committee. So
we can add that to the newsletter.
yes, that the TBD became Rob Ashdown.
Okay, I'll tell them.
Okay. And then I would like to make a motion to add Cheryl Lake and Shelley Daly as at-large members of the golf committee.
Okay,
We have applications?
We can have it on the agenda, right?
We-
But I brought it up on Tuesday.
we did bring it up on Tuesday. We did speak about it at the agenda meeting. So,
I forgot.
yeah, we did. Okay, so we have a motion.
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion? Pat?
Both Cheryl and Kelly will be at-large members. Is that correct?
Right, just
Yeah.
like anybody who wants to join the committee
Okay,
as
so
a member.
neither one of them will be voting members.
I don't know what the voting composition is right now, how many you have as a voting member.
Okay. All right, so.
So I would put them both as alternates at this point. I would call them alternates.
Is there any other discussion? Yes?
Does an at-large member have to fill out an application?
An application was filled out by
Both of
both
them filled out applications.
back in
Okay.
November.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, thank you very much for the golf committee. Thanks for that input, Steve. We have the Greens Committee.
Jack
Steve?
Peterson is going to give you the report.
Hi folks, how you doing? 2024 is going to be a pretty busy year with Raphael making the push to really solidify the Bermuda base. Very important. Your approval today of that cedar is going to benefit that wholeheartedly. That actually will stop us, we hope, that from a request of having to close 9 holes at a time this year coming up. Because you'll be able to target areas, rope them off, and you'll still be able to play holes. So that was a really big improvement. We appreciate that you approved that cedar, that tech cedar. The first quarter projects that we're looking at, the big packages are being worked on right now, so we can get them to the finance committee, get them to you guys for approval. That's enclosing the main pump station finally. We have a working draft that we're working on, so everything should be there. And a brick wall extension at the maintenance yard to give Raphael more room for debris from the course. Everyone knows the piles that sit outside the maintenance yard there by the cart path. That's going to go out past that, back around, add a new gate for trucks to move in and out, so you can move debris inside and also give them more room to work inside that. So that's coming up in the first quarter. We hope to get to you guys. Along with the equipment, we've kind of been taking the last couple of years following the
board's directions on trying to spend less and get more bang for the buck out of our dollars, which I think we've done in the green committee, so I'm proud of that committee. But it's time for some replacement of equipment, obviously what you just approved. Towards the second quarter or sooner, we'll be asking, we have already reviewed it. It's not our purview to say yes or no, but the green committee has reviewed 2 new green mowers. Those mowers would transfer those old green mowers to T-mowers. The 2 T-mowers would then be sold or reversed. So it's not just new coming in and something else going out. It's actually make our T-mowers better. Sometime in the second quarter, the staff will be marking the trees that we're going to propose for removal coming up, so everyone can see it. It'll be something that can't be removed. Last time I put something, they were removed. So we're going to paint a light, hopefully upside down paint along the bottom of the tree so people can see it. We'll be coming to you probably next month for the approval, but it won't be until the summer, because sometime in the second. The other one is he'll start target seeding for the ground surround areas so that the Bermuda base fills in there sooner in the summer. The reason being that he can ground surround it more and it won't have this patchy green and stuff that it has now. Basically, he has not been able to get June timing, but this cedar will really help that again. So there's maximum benefits from that. Some additional things that we're discussing going forward, they're just in discussion. It's pointing triggers. We don't have any SOW state of works or anything, but hole 11 is in really bad shape. From the bottom of the T-mound all the way to the green, most of the dirt is washed out of the low spots. So we're looking at what can be done. Basically rolling in the 11th green, which everyone has been wanting to repair anyway, at the same time. So from the bottom of the tees through the fairway, reshape the mounds up into the hole and improve the 11th green. So that's something we're discussing. The other one is hole 12, is putting a cart path to the gold and green tees. So people don't have to walk from the existing cart path down that steep hole and back. 2 things, mainly safety in my mind, but there's people on the committee who really feel it's going to speed up play by 3 to 5 minutes a group. They actually went out with stopwatches and watched people walk down, walk back, depending on your ability. Just had my hip replaced not too long ago. That is a tough walk, so I can understand. So we're looking at that. And another one is we're still working with DWA to try and get financing for one more desertscape. That's a slow hoe as usual for this government agency, but hopefully we'll be in the same position that we were when we did 1 through 18 along the desertscape. Is it didn't cost us any big savings right off the bat. We estimate around $50,000 a year. That savings that we didn't pay at the time, other than maintenance once it's done. Give you a couple ideas of the finished plans, the Bermuda recovery, which will be out in front of you, the tree removal, which will be out in front of you, and a watering routine that we've worked with Raphael and staff to kind of get a little bit better tuning on how he runs that. And he's been working, it's not us telling him, he's telling us what he wants to do off a mandate that started a few seasons ago about cutting the water back. So I'll give you a kind of an idea. We asked for 20%. We had some 25 people, we settled at 20. He's cut back 18%. Now some of that is weather related, but still 18% equates to about $33,000 in recharge water costs and about $45,000 electricity. So the job well done.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Jack, I have one question.
Yes.
When you're talking about the trees, you're going to mark the trees for removal. What happens if you have members that would like to speak to you about having that tree not removed? Is that a possibility, or how are you going to go? Will they be talking to the Greens Committee? Will they bring it to the board?
Well, that will be up to you. We'd like them to come to the Greens Committee to talk. I've explained this a few times, but just to get an overview, it isn't just to remove trees. Trees do use water, but it's not just to remove trees. Areas, if you think between 1 and 9, all those trees in the middle between the 2 fairways, we can't grow grass in there. It's too shady. Some of the trees are dead and dying. Just out of a safety perspective, they need to come down. So we want to do that at the same time. There's also some trees that aren't conducive to golf courses, the way they root, the way they grow, so those would come down. But yes, we'd be fine with them once they see them to come and tell us, and it isn't like, I'll tell you, we're shooting for 25 trees. We have 775 trees. I had a few months ago, did a little write-up on what that adds to water and all that. So it isn't like you won't see trees. It's just targeted trees that are either dying or anything like that, and then ones where we can grow grass. One mandate we put on, anything with an active nest will not be considered. And memorial trees, we're trying to make sure we don't tag those.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
One
Oh,
question. What about, where are you talking about the desert land?
Where we are working with them now is around 2. So if you think of the cart path going up 1 and you make the turn to go behind the green, from there all the way to the exit on 2, around the pump house on 2, around the back side of the back tees, which is the black tees, up to there, the other side of the cart path by 9, all the way along the houses to the end, which is about a 2-foot stretch. Result is about 2. There's a couple 3-foot areas, but it's roughly about 2 foot. Takes roughly 16 hours of man time to maintain. Desert Scape's going to be less, no plan. That's what we're asking.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your report. Okay,
Thank you.
I got a question about Park Path on 12 there, down to the gold, what's cost projection of that one?
Well, like I said, we're just starting on it, but 2022, I think we looked at it, and it was around $35,000. Main cost is in a shoring wall, because you have to shore up that silver tee. The cart path itself is fairly inexpensive, to be honest with you. But we got to shore the wall. We got to shore that. So, as far as we know, that's the starting.
Any idea how many people actually can't get down there and walk?
I haven't done that.
Percentage, 10%, 5%?
Golfers, I would probably say maybe 30%. I mean, not that they can't get down there, but
remember, for those few who can't, there's no workaround other than you can't play that tournament from the gold tee or the green tee. There's no workaround. There's no substitute. There's no, you're disabled. You can't play in that tournament.
You can't go to the drop area, hit from there.
In a tournament, I'm going to give up somebody playing from the orange tee. That's a whole different 85 yards versus 160.
We'll just put the green and the gold at the silver tees for the tournaments and call it good.
We're gonna then we're gonna get a new rating because we've just sacrificed a stroke and handicap. So there's no solution.
Now, I mean, we've had a research a few times, come back up with people again. So
I'm surprised there hasn't been an ADA suit up.
this is just a look at the moment, and it,
yeah, we're not starting a big package or anything like that. Just trying to get an idea on what happened.
Whatever happened, make 15 a par 4, I guess that's been along the wayside too. We talked about that 10 years.
And it's still in the 5-year plan, but it just keeps moving out.
5-year plan.
We have a 5-year plan agreement. So that's probably once a year, 2 years. That would be nice. But it has not been dropped off. But it has moved to the end of this year's 5-year plan, which is 2028.
okay, thank you so very much, Jack. We appreciate that. The next committee is House Committee, and Jenny Dales is not here, so
She was supposed to be here.
she was supposed to be here. So at this present time, we do not have a House Committee report, but we will get that taken care of. We do have I do need to get a motion to add Sue Ketchum to the House Committee as a voting member.
I'll make a motion to approve Sue Ketchum as, was it a voting member? Yeah, voting
Yes.
member on the House Committee.
I second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Sue, welcome to the House Committee. Next is Member Communications Committee. Sam?
Yes, before Sandra gives her report, like to make a motion to approve a new voting committee member, Sue Ketchum.
I'd like to second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Any
Senator.
days? Motion carried.
Thank you, Sue.
Before I start talking about the communications committee, I'd like to thank the fact that we finally had an all chairs and liaison board member meeting in January, beginning this month, so that the committees can start to work together and coordinate what they're doing. I think it was a good meeting. We had almost 100% attendance. You know, it's difficult to get 100. And we have decided to do this as a quarterly function. And I think that's really something that's moving forward for all the different committees that are here for the community at large. So thank you. So here, we got it on the calendar. Communications committee has been really busy with a lot of things going on. Some of the future kinds of things that we're talking about, the beginnings, is a fact sheet for the realtors, or to go out in the escrow packet that is sent out by MLCC to whatever escrow company is managing a sale and purchase, that identifies quickly, without having to read all the CC&Rs and all things that most people don't, to identify those kinds of things that are important. I've talked to a couple of people who are condo club members, and that there's a reason why I'm calling them condo club members, that they did not know that there was a condo HOA, as well as an MLCC HOA, as well as a food minimum. Some people are buying in here, and it's partly their own fault by not reading everything, but it's complicated to read, and you've never been in an HOA, or if you're not really good at reading legal stuff, which is an art form in and of itself, so that people understand what it is that they're buying. Yes, they have to be a member. No, you can't opt out. These are questions that come to the member relations office. Gee, do I have to do this? So there's a lack of understanding of what it is that people are selling and or buying. So we're looking to put together a fact sheet to go out. Brian and I have talked about it. A fact sheet to go out with the escrow papers, with the sign off, so that the people who are purchasing know what it is that they're buying. It helps when they come in. We talked about a fact sheet for owners who plan to rent their property. There's been a lot of chatter on Nextdoor. There's been a lot of chatter on Facebook lately about renters. One of the comments was, well, how do we force the renters to register? It's not the renters, it's the homeowner who has to tell the renter to come up. So I answered that one with what from the rules and regulations set by number 18, I think it is. But we're also talking about when a new owner comes up to the relations office, the member relations office, it's a very specific question. Do you plan to live here part-time, full-time, or rent? If they say rent, that puts them in another pathway of information that they should be receiving, so we're sure they have the right information about registering a renter. This is something that I think, do you have any idea how many renters we've got registered?
Like 96 registered.
Right. Do we think there are a lot more? Because I'm seeing on Facebook, oh, I just met a new member or a new renter next door. They didn't know they could come up to the club. They did not know that there are certain things that are available to them. So this is an outreach that at least we can start catching the ones as they're coming in while we backtrack and look for the ones who are already here. So that's the second thing. Third thing we talked about was how to do surveys more efficiently. We have gotten rid of constant contact because that required us to maintain a database of email addresses from Jonas, which runs the club, as well as in constant contact. There was always a disconnect. We had at one point 700 failures. So we are looking for a way to do it where we don't have to maintain two. Jonas has just come up with a module. I know that the management office is looking into that. It's a monthly charge, but there are things besides the survey. So I think we're checking to see what else might come with that. Is that an option? We also talked about a survey question coming up on a topic that's coming up later. I said condo club members. We are very fortunate in the communications committee that we have a couple of people as members of that committee. Walt is on the committee and he's on the board of the condos, as well as Helen Jones, who's on the committee. She's also, I believe,
the communications committee person at the condos. Language is really important. And when we use the word condos and homeowners, and I see this is a divisive thing, as if that is less or different. So I'd like you to kind of put in your head that everybody is a club member regardless of where they live. So that the word club member comes before the word condo. Just a thought from my point of view that language does give behavior. I will tell you that when we had the open house for new members, both at the season opener and at the a special meeting, that almost everybody who came up with people who live in the condos, not people from the homeowners. That was an interesting dichotomy. One or two other things that we're working on. You've seen the brochure we put together. There's one out there for the season, for what kinds of activities are coming up. This is hot off the press, literally. For renters, what renters can and can't do here. So once we identify the renters, what's available to them, if there is a charge for what it is, information about the restaurants, etc., and times and hours, etc. So this is something that will also be given out. It was put together by Eric and Madison and two other people. We just kind of put something together. It will change, I am sure, as time goes on. But there are some back there that probably not pulled it literally off the press. And just that sort of thing to bring in the renters, to bring in those butts in the seat. And then I think we have just one more thing is please check your email addresses. We've had emails go wrong because I no longer work there, so I don't use work email. I changed my email. I went from AOL to Gmail. I spelled my name wrong, or they got put in wrong. So that's just in the last week and a half. Emails that are failing. So if you're not getting your email, please let me do an email or Madison or Cynthia in the office. We'll fix it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Sandra. We're doing a really good job with the communications committee.
We've got a
It's great.
question.
May I ask Sandra a question? Yes. Is it possible if we put a little doohickey down it by the pool that we could keep that flyer in there? Is that something that can only be distributed?
We're gonna need to know what a doohickey is.
We get involved in CDs. Do you know that was a boat?
I think they call it
A holder like we have outside.
yes,
Never
would
replaced.
that be possible? Is that appropriate for us to be put it down at the pool, or should they have to come up here and get it?
Eric will check into it. I can write it down.
It'll do me.
It's something that we can check into.
And thank you.
Okay, so next will be our COPS committee. Dennis?
The COPS program is in a state of suspension due to changes at the sheriff's office. And if you don't mind, if you don't mind, Eric,
Yeah,
I'll
so
ask you to discuss
I
this.
did talk to Larry a little bit today, but Mr. Peterson, who's here, hopefully he can add light to this if I go off track here. But basically, having the car parked out in the parking lot, I guess it's been here 11 years. But basically, the new sheriff's person running the cops program didn't like it there, so they moved it to Rancher Garage. In that situation where our people would have to go down and check it out every day to get that car back up here. There was a lot of other issues happening where we had one driver driving around our community doing our cops program. For liability reasons, they wanted 2 volunteers driving it at all times. And up here, it's tough to get volunteers for that program anyway, so they didn't have enough people to ride 2 at a time. Other issues, we've had a lot of things happen to that car, like mice and things have eaten the wires. Larry told me a bunch of money was put into that car because of that, because it's parked out in the parking lot. But for the most part, for the liability and everything else, the cops it's not done. Larry did say they're still working on trying to get that car back up here and get the cops program going again, or getting enough volunteers that will drive down and get that vehicle and bring it back. But he is still in talks with the sheriff's department, but right now it's stopped. So that's where we're at.
Okay,
Anything to add to that? Very good. No. All right.
okay, thank you very much. The next committee is Pool and Rec. And Eddie, I see you're already up and ready for the report.
Okay,
It's on.
we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, first, like, to talk about an activity day that Pool and Rec has planned sometime for March or April. And the idea here is to involve adults and children in games, so include bocce ball, pickleball, ring toss, cornhole, things other than golf and swimming. So we can advertise a day for that. You know, a minimal fee would be charged, maybe $5, $10 to help defray the cost of food and beverage. But we formed a subcommittee of Mr. Tim Hagan, Ms. Kim Ladd, and Ms. Karen Pike here to look into this further. And we'll have more to come on this, but we try to look at things other than golf and just swimming that we can offer our residents. And this seemed like a good idea to get them involved in some games that both the children and the adults can be involved in. Our hiking group had their first hike today. Ms. Pat Horsted and Kim Ladd are leading this group. And our hiking club is open to all skill levels. We modify it to make certain that everyone is able to do that particular hike. So please look at future e-blasts for advertisements next month for that event. Our exercise classes are back at pre-pandemic levels, and our members are really involved in these classes. They're doing real well with that. Excuse me. We have decided to try one yoga stretch class in the evening hours. We've had a number of these attempted in the last 5 or 6 years. None of them have ended up being successful because we don't get the turnout. But I think we have enough commitment of members that will be involved in this. Ellen will be teaching this because she's really good with yoga. And we have live music in the village. Everybody likes that. Lastly, as part of our strategic plan for 2024, the area adjacent to that ADA restroom has been on the planning stages for a number of years. So in concert with future planning and the Greens Committee, we'd like to propose that we proceed with that, where we can take that fence out down there, open that area up, complete a retaining wall down the side, do some landscapes, some lighting, put the turf back in, add about 600 square feet of pavers, and open this up for member activities, if nothing else, just to see the view down number 9. Because if you think about it, it's really nice. And with that wall there, or that fence there, with that ficus on, you can't see anything. And it would give us an opportunity for something a little bit. So that would be the plan. Again, we would work with Greens and future planning to kind of get together with the three committees and develop something that makes sense. That's it for us. Any questions?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Is that the fence at the tennis court?
No, it's a fence right down here at the pool.
Okay.
Look, the west exposure.
Sue?
Is the
Yes,
hiking club open to renters?
yes, any fall activities.
Well,
Well, almost all.
yeah. Thank you.
You're sure welcome.
Thank you very much, Eddie, for that report. The next committee is future planning. Brian?
Yes, Phil's gonna give the report. A lot of good stuff going on.
As soon as I get. You know, I really, I really appreciate Susan opening the meeting telling us how great the weather is here, because communication with my daughter this morning, they had -50 below. So we're happy to be here. Anyways, future planning has been working on review of our existing contract for quite a bit of time, and we've got that contract refined enough to present that to the board, which will be next month. But on top of that, we've held a committee workshop here last week, a week before, to go through a list of procedures or steps in which to implement this contract. I mean, this contract, it's a decent contract, but it's not a blanket contract. We don't need it for, items, maintenance items and stuff like that. But we do need it in high risk situations such as
replacing the air conditioners, they have a boom truck swinging over the top of the building, that kind of stuff. Or the painters in this club, and they have tarps all over the floor, and we have people coming in with wheelchairs or walkers and stuff like that with trip balls. So it's a good contract, and we've developed a draft which is going to be presented at our next future planning committee, and it'll be, I'm sure it'll be adopted or amended. And then we're going to present to the next board meeting for approval of both.
Right.
Okay, the other items is Eric came to us, or Mr. Charles came to us a couple months ago and wanted us to look at two things. Number one, a dog park. The other thing was a dump waiter. And this dog park, we've had just all kinds of discussion over this thing, but it all boils down to one thing. Our CCNRs and our rules and regulations do not allow pets in common areas. And until such time that the board either changes the CCNRs and the rules and reg, it's a waste of our time to pursue it because we have no avenue in which to construct a dog park. We've been working for several months on the handicap parking out here in front of the clubhouse. And, you know, we went out for a design build, and that turned out to be a problem. We've been trying to get engineering firms to come up here and form a topographic survey and engineering firms to actually do a design on it. And we get the answer every time. We're too busy. And I don't know if that's the real reason or there's some other reason, whether it's Mission Lakes or whatever. We don't know why we can't get people to do business with us up here. It's such a simple job. But we asked Mr. Charles at our last meeting to get in contact with the architect we had here back in 2019 that developed plans for remodeling not only the clubhouse, but also the downstairs, which included the expansion of that parking lot. And he was able to obtain those documents from Pearson and Associates, and he has passed that on to us. And it shows that handicap. And so it might, you know, we're going to discuss it again in our next meeting, but it deals with not only the parking situation out front, but our discussions on downstairs, the pro shop, the sandwich, and the dumbwaiter. It shows all that in detail. It gives us a working document we can actually vet and move forward. But I just want to make sure, because it doesn't get into the rumor mill, that we have no intentions of doing any work on this structure until the projects have been thoroughly vetted by the committee, future planning committee, the membership, and approved by the board. So we're looking at it because it's a future project, possibly. If the members don't want it, we're going to drop it. But we still think this handicap parking is important. The other item that we haven't put a lot of time into, that we're still trying to figure out the need. Personally, I think there's a need. That is to get a handicap ramp from in front of the pro shop with sandwich down to the pool and eliminate the lift or the elevator that is there now. That my understanding hasn't worked. It hasn't worked for 20 years.
Actually, I believe that was just repaired.
Actually, it has been repaired.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why that's good to know. It doesn't work.
According to Kent, he just fixed it.
Well, one of the issues with that elevator, that reason we put this on the agenda, is that the person that walks, a member or a person in a wheelchair that goes up to that elevator can't operate it. They've got to go get somebody from the pro shop or the maintenance. They've got to go get somebody elsewhere to operate that elevator. So it's not a handicap elevator because who are you going to get it? 9 o'clock at night when everybody's gone home and they want to go use the spots. So something to think about.
Chair lifts. That's something
that is my report.
It goes, yeah. That is something that we will be discussing about that, but it is functioning now again. So, yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Phil.
can we have questions? Okay.
You are right about the in your comments about you gotta go get somebody.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
In other words, it's worthless. So why not? I look at it from the
I don't know if that's
the standpoint. In Alaska, we still use outhouse. Okay, the beauty of an outhouse, we never need a plumber. If we eliminate the elevator, we never leave an elevator company or an electrician again, because the ramp is easy to use. Requires no maintenance.
Okay, yes,
I know the, Easter sunrise service is only one time. But what would handicap parking put up in the area where we? Sunrise service?
Jim?
How do we limit it?
That's being addressed in the plan.
Oh, is
To
it?
not, yes, to not cause any trouble for the sunrise service.
Actually,
Enhance it.
make it easy.
Yeah.
okay, thank you. That's good to know also. Thank you for that question. Sandra?
Having lived in a previous HOA and back to the dog park and such, there are requirements from David Sterling, however, that says you can't not have one. It has to do with how you set up your rules and regulations. So even though it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't exclude it because I think it's not named or mentioned in our governing documents. I did take a look because this was a big issue at Leisure World and Seal Beach when they came up with the first rule being that you could not walk your animal on common property. Well, when you walked out your front door, you were on common property. And so that became a big thing. Can't say no, you just have to have it done in the proper rules and regulations that are agreed.
Well, we thank you for that because
Yeah, it is in the
it's
data
been an ongoing process that we're all still looking into because it's something that the membership have always wanted, and so it's an ongoing project.
We just have to look beyond our own documents.
Okay. And okay, so I want to say thank you to all the committee chairs who is here today. Thank you for the report. You're very good at keeping us all informed, and we really appreciate you all. Thank you. Right now, we're going to move on to old business, and it appears we have no old business to bring up. We have new business, and we did fill our position today. Thank you very much again. The next thing is the Board of Directors Candidate Forum, which will be held on February 18th at 2 p.m. in this room, I believe. Yes, okay. And I think that's a really good time for everybody to come up and meet the candidates. I do know, I'm not quite sure if she's absolutely decided on the way that it is going to be done. So I can't really give that, but I do believe she's going to have 3 questions asked of the candidates. Phil?
I have talked to Judy. I will be part of helping her with that forum.
Okay.
The candidates will meet in the San Giorno room, and then we'll bring the candidates in one at a time. There'll be 3 questions. Every candidate will get the same question.
The same 3 questions. Okay, perfect. Sue?
I've been to a lot of candidate forums over the years, and I'm glad Phil said that because I reached out to Judy to find out what her process was going to be this year. I think there's really a disservice sequestering candidates and then not letting them be here. Karen and I are running, Susan, you're running, Steve's running, Ken's running. I'm a member, which means if I'm sequestered, I cannot hear how Karen, Steve, Susan, or Ken answered the questions. And I think that's a problem because I have the right to vote and I have the right to have an educated vote. During COVID, the candidate forum was done on video. And I know I talked to Steve and Eric, it's been very difficult to find an appropriate date. That date is a tournament date. I think that will also limit attendance. I really am suggesting that we don't do a sequester. I think that's just not the right thing to do. I've also heard there will be no audience interaction. So there's no interaction at all. There's 3 questions. Why not provide the candidates the 3 questions? I don't believe in gotchas. I did a lot of train the trainers and I always told them don't do a gotcha to your students. Give the candidate, this again, my suggestion, because I know it's up to the inspector of elections,
Give the candidates the 3 questions, videotape it, put it on our Facebook. That will allow more members to see that, as well as the candidates to hear the responses.
Well, we thank you for that. I'm glad that you reached out to Judy on that, but it is up to Judy because she is the unfortunately, she's the elections
Does the board
president.
have no input?
So we can offer our input, but she does run the elections.
If you would, because, and I don't know how, if anybody agrees with me about this, but I've reached out to her, but she has not responded.
Okay, well, hopefully she will. You know, you can, Phil, let her also talk to her about letting her know that there is, you know, some people that would like things done differently. And you know, we certainly will talk with her also, but bottom line, she's running this year's election.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for
we'll be
allowing me to
meeting
do
with
it.
her.
Who's Judy?
Judy Grant? She has ran the elections before.
It's been a couple.
And exactly in that manner. And just because it was done one way for many years doesn't mean it's the right way. Correct.
Well, we agree with that also, but the board can't overstep our bound either in the fact that we do have somebody that runs the election.
I don't wanna put controversy here, but the logic is that the candidates are sequestered for the simple reason is it makes it fair for every candidate, so that one candidate can't feed off another candidate's weakness. Everybody stands on their own. If you have all candidates in the same room at the same time, I'm sorry if you're the first.
But I understand that even after a
That's the-
candidate is done, she can't stay in the room, which makes no sense to me either. So then the question will be, will these be videotaped at the same time? So that those of us, and that's not just the candidates that won't be there, but there's other members that will not be there. How do 1,000 members be educated?
They can go out and email blast the link as well.
The last member candidate, the last member candidate forum, we all were there. I mean, it was the same way. We were sequestered. We came in, we got questions asked of us. The only difference in that was that we sat after that. Yeah, so there's not a lot of difference. I know last time we did take questions from the audience, which is one thing that for some reason she has chosen not to do. So, but you know, it can be brought up to her attention, that these are the things.
Typically, doesn't somebody who runs an election run it based on the rules and regulations that have been set up before for how it gets run? We don't have rules and regs for that, then we're missing a piece. We're missing a piece because it should be equal from election to election with modifications. The world does change. However, those 3 questions may be of no interest to me. I may have a different question. And as a member, along with what Sue is saying, there are other things that are of import. Seems a little narrow if you don't have.
Well, that was in the last election. I mean, I've only been in one other election, but it was up to Shelley Daly at that time because she was the election board. And so she chose how to run the elections.
I agree with you, Sandra, about audience questions. I mean, I kind of liked the audience questions we had last year. But I do know the concern was expressed that it could be gamed. That I could have somebody ask the questions and target somebody or give me a softball, that kind of thing. So
Absolutely true.
I certainly hope it's videotaped. I just made the assumption, I guess I shouldn't have, that it was going to be videotaped and provided the way board meetings were.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I
thought it was
there
last
isn't a
year.
process.
I thought it was.
It is.
Because I think it should be, because we can't expect 1,069 members to be here for that forum, so.
Yeah, I thought, okay. All right, well, thank you very much for that, Sue. And we'll pass those things on to Judy and work on towards how that is. Yes?
even if you can't understand what I'm saying. So can we request that she videotape? Would that request?
Yes. Yeah, you can. Sure, you bet.
See any difference?
I guess I'm kind of like Steve. I thought it was just automatically videotaped. And that seems like it was last time too, but
Stuff on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, because I went home and watched myself and cringed. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
Facebook only has, what,
Numerous
500?
times I watched it. Okay, and then do we have any more questions about that? Okay, the next thing that we have is the security.
Hmm.
And I know that this has become a real, everybody is concerned about the security. And I just want to let everybody know that the board is working really hard to vet a new security company. And they will, we've been out for bids, and I'm going to let Eric go ahead and fill in here because he's been working diligently on this.
I think it all started when the cops sort of went off the radar. But yeah, we do have a security person that's here. At this time, she didn't have the right proper paperwork. And going forward, she was going to get her full credentials. So anyways, we are looking at a company to come in, lock the clubhouse, set the alarms, watch cameras, and patrol the neighborhood. So and we're not looking at, we're looking at Vintage Group, we're looking at Securitas, we're looking at big companies that come in here, basically have a roving patrol at night.
Okay.
Starting at 8 o'clock, they'll lock the gates. At 10 o'clock, lock the clubhouse, get everybody out, make sure everything's going, and then they're going to roam the rest of the night. So that's sort of what we're looking at. We've got our fourth bid coming in Monday, and then we'll sit down with the board and discuss it. That's what we're looking at for the security control.
And I think that's really good because last time, even with our cops, they were here and they roamed around during the day, but they were not roaming around all night. So a step in the right direction is to know and get a peace of mind that we will have a car out there around the neighborhoods during the night. Well,
I have a quick question. Eric, do you anticipate that when you do pick a security company, that you'll also have them drive the common areas for the condos?
So I will say, I have brought that up with the companies. So I have discussed it. If there was one company I know we're both talking to, they've already talked to the condos and then they came to talk to us. So I know that it's sort of happening that way. So I'll discuss with the condos when we narrow down where we're at, because it wouldn't take long, but you're looking for more of a security walk around too, aren't you?
Not necessarily.
Or maybe just a drive. Okay, so that, I don't think that would be an issue with any company. So I thought the condos were looking for something more manned on the grounds there besides patrolling. So anyways, we'll get together.
Thank you, Eric. Keep us in the loop.
Yep.
okay. Is there any other discussion on that?
If you hired a security company and they drive around the neighborhoods, they knock on a door to tell you got your door.
So yes, so some of the security companies we're talking, they're gonna follow our rules. They're gonna write up anything that's car parked the wrong way. A car, if something happening, they will write it up and say whatever house number and all that. But if the garage door is open, I'm gonna say at the beginning, they probably won't call you, they'll probably knock on the door if it's not too late, but I don't know how many people want their door knocked on, but if the garage door is open, the garage door is open.
That's one thing the cops
So
did.
they will, we did discuss that with the companies we're dealing.
Okay.
I also sit on the board for Mountain View, which is part of Mission Lakes, but kind of in a way it is. There's so many people that are intertwined. And we have a security company there. We're very happy. Any input I can give on that?
Yeah.
Since 2022.
The issue with that one is the owner's a homeowner.
I talked to him about that and they sold that.
Yeah, well, right now, he's still the owner on record. So, but they are one of the bids. So just be fair.
And yes, you are correct. Heidi is amazing. I'm over there too.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, our homeowners are so happy.
Absolutely.
Like you talk about garage doors or strange cars. Yeah, it's really high level.
Okay, great. And then the last thing that we have as new business is we have a wedding request for March 23rd, Saturday, and we do know that that is our annual meeting that day. And they would like the clubhouse, they would like to have the clubhouse from 1 o'clock on because they need to start preparing for the wedding. So the question that's brought before the board is during that time, of course, that is our annual meeting, and in the afternoon, that is when the new board is set. So if we should approve this, we would be downstairs, the meeting would take place downstairs in the all-purpose room, the multi-purpose room, so that we can allow this wedding to be here. And it's a big wedding, so it is going to bring us
Yeah.
quite a bit of
Well,
money.
you know, the minimum to shut the clubhouse down is 5,000, so that's the minimum.
Yeah, so it will be at least that, and then that's not, you know, everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah.
So the morning meeting would still be here because that's at 10 o'clock. And then the only one that would be downstairs would be the afternoon after the counting of the ballots and everything that goes along with that meeting. So is there any discussion with the board? Any further discussion?
So just so everybody knows, it is a member here. That's
Yeah.
for their.
That's requesting this. Can I have a motion then to accept this?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the wedding request from Deborah McDonald for March 23rd, Saturday clubhouse closure at 1 p.m.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there any nays? Okay, so you can let her know that her wedding is still on. Okay, well, before I adjourn the meeting, I just have one thing that I'd like to say, and that is, as I close this meeting, I want to remind all members that an individual member does not have the right to approach and speak to any of our employees of our club in a challenging or aggressive manner. Please, if you have a problem with one of our employees, bring it to the board of directors. It's our responsibility to handle all of the members' concerns. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for being here today. It's been a great meeting. We've kept on point. We've done really well. And I thank you all once again, and I'd like to adjourn the meeting.
So,
Jack?
just one thing on that. Is that something we blasted out again to everybody, that what our rules and rates are?
We could do it.
We could do an e-black on that.
We're gonna pick it off.
Oh, we have to pick a name.
Number.
Pick a number.
Between 1 and
Three?
26.
Number 3.
I have a random number.
Courtney. Oh.
Dale Earnhardt. Oh, wait.
There you go.
All right, Mo.
Oh,
We got to do something really quick.
No.
Oh.
Just want to.